I have in my hands, in my mail, a box of my books that I have been waiting for so long. I have been laughing. I'm hoping you can hear me. Because a lot of my endorsers have been getting their books before I got my books. And I wondered why. And it was because my publisher had an old P.O. box of mine that was no longer able to receive mail. So now they are here, and I am so freaking excited to unveil to you, unveil to myself and the world, um, my third book in the world. My second with a publishing house. My first book was self-published, and my first that is really, I don't know, everyone I talk to about this book says that this is my book. My first two books were also my books. Like they came from me. They were written by me in different seasons of my life, but this framework, these tools are are what I know to be the legacy that I want to leave in the world. That is how significant this book is to me. Look how beautifully packaged they are in bubble wrap. I have no idea how many copies are in here, but it also says it's a rush order, which is so wonderful because my book comes out in 6 days on March 31st. Try not to scratch a microphone. There she is, sweet baby. Of course, I'm here right now. Three actually helpful things to say to someone grieving. It's a hardback, baby's first hardback. I am so excited. Okay, let me put this giant box down. And I want to tell you a little bit about the book, and then I'll read you a passage from it because that's how excited I am that this is today, that this is happening. And it can seem very it might seem very odd to you that I am this lit about a grief book because a lot of grief books are memoirs about the most tragic things that happen in our lives. And I believe that there is a space and place and time for those grief books to exist. They need to exist in the world. People need to see them on shelves in order to see themselves in story and to recognize not only that they are not alone, but that it is possible to survive those kinds of losses. This is not that kind of grief book. This grief book is for everyone who is adjacent to a griever, who wants to support them but doesn't know what to say. So this is much less of a memoir. It's really not a memoir at all, and more a how-to guide of what to say to support somebody who's grieving. This is written for friends and family members. This is written for co-workers. This is written for bosses, CEOs, leadership. Politicians should read this, please. It is also written for perfect strangers, people who deal with grievers on a regular basis. And if you don't think you deal with grievers on a regular basis, think again. I have had so many interactions with massage therapists, with hairstylists, with people at retail counters. I work in a flower shop 4 days in a week. You think we don't get sympathy calls to do funeral arrangements? People talking about their loved ones who have died? This is for anyone who is adjacent to a grieving person. And in today's world, that means all of us. And society has taught us these garbage phrases of time heals all, everything happens for a reason, God just needed another angel, you just need to be strong for your family. And not one of these phrases has ever meaningfully helped a grieving person feel as if they are seen, heard, comforted, supported. All they are doing is making grieving people feel judged and alone and like their pain is going to last forever, especially if the grief waves keep coming. But they do, they always do. Grief is lifelong. So this three-phrase framework, of course, I'm here right now, is my answer as a griever and a grief coach, griever for 13 years, grief coach for more than 10 now, of how to support somebody who is grieving, regardless of the type of loss they faced, how long they've been grieving for, and what medium you're communicating on. And what I posit in this book, and what I teach you how to do, is use words. Our best free grief support tool that any of us has access to at any time to support the people in your life who are grieving. These can be your closest friends and family members. They can also be your coworkers. They can be your clients. They can be the stranger in the back of the Uber that you are driving because that is your side hustle. It can be someone you are serving tables to as a waitress in a major city. It can be someone, a neighbor that you run into on the street. It can be someone you're waiting on the train platform with. These words work in all instances for all types of loss, from the minor every day. I didn't get a part in the play. The bus drove by so fast it splashed water on my new dress, and now there is a minor loss of some sort, all the way to the person I love most in the world has just died. And you, as a comforter, a supporter, are being looked to as the person to respond to it. That is what this book is for. It's very funny, the process of trying to sell this book, of getting anyone to buy it, was a lot about proving that this book needed to exist in the world. My agent and I shopped this out to another publishing house, and they said, this is great, but we would love for you to include some actions of what to do for someone who is grieving. These could include things like bring a casserole, mow their lawn, offer to walk their dogs for them, send a grocery gift card. And I said, no, 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 no. You're missing the point. The point of this book is that words are the tool. Words are it. This is a guidebook for how to use language and how to change the language that we use as a society to comfort people in grief. And the biggest reason I wrote it was this. There were many reasons I wrote this book, but the biggest reason I wrote it was this. Grieving people over and over and over and over and over again feel so abandoned and left behind and judged by friends, family members, coworkers, all the other people in their life because of the language that is used towards them. The one that I won't forget in the story that I tell, one of the stories I tell in the book, is about a professor who told me that I can't be sad forever, 2 months after my mom died. And it would have been so different if that professor had said, of course you're still sad that your mom is dead just 2 months after she died. I'm here for you. Right now, I can imagine this is a really hard season to go to class, which I did 2 months after my mom died. I was 21 when she died, and I was in my senior year of college. What a different experience that would have been, as opposed to hearing, you can't be sad forever, after I ran out of a class that I didn't know was going to be about funerals 2 months to the day after my mother's death. Sorry, got off on a tangent. The biggest reason I wrote the book is this. Grieving people do not want to be abandoned, but they are by words. Words are what causes fractures and rifts and awkwardness and endings to friendships and relationships after loss. And supporters, friends, family members, coworkers, people who care about them. They're like, I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I want to genuinely be helpful, but I don't know what to say or do. But in the silence that exists between grievers and supporters, this is where relationships fracture and end. This is the book for supporters who genuinely give a crap about saying things that are comforting and supporting to their grievers, not just so they have a script to say in the moment. This is not just, here's your words, now take them, thank you. It is so that grief, the thing that storms through your friend or family member or client or coworker's life, does not break your relationship, but makes it stronger. Or makes it so that the thing that tears so many people away and causes grievers to grieve yet another loss. I grieve my mom, now I have to grieve my coworkers too. I grieved my sister, I have to grieve my friend group as well. I grieved the death of a dream or a disability or a diagnosis that I was diagnosed with. And now I have to grieve this community of support that doesn't know how to show up for me. This stops that from happening. This creates a world, and I'm going to be really soapboxy for a second. This guarantees a world where everyone has the words to say to someone grieving. This is the simplest tool I could create, the most accessible, easy to learn tool that I could create for everyone in the world to support someone they care about who is grieving. I want to read, I don't know what I want to read. Let's flip through. Also, hella hardcover. My publisher told me I broke a record for the most endorsements that have ever been received for a book. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the back, and there are 24 more inside. There are 30 people who have endorsed this book, from fellow grief authors like Rebecca Sofer and Hope Edelman, to podcast host Janet Cristofaro is one, Dr. Julie Shaw, another grief author, Colin Campbell, Christina Rasmussen, who wrote one of my favorite books right after my mom died called Second Firsts. But there are so many other endorsements in this book from psychotherapists, from hospice workers, from people who are adjacent to the grieving and who write about the significance of words and loss. Oh, and a couple of TikTok stars. Hospice nurse Penny is in here as well. But like so many people who understand what it means and the power of language when someone that you care about is grieving. Okay, I'm going to read from the introduction because I don't want to spoil the ending by reading you the ending. So I'm going to read you the introduction. Ready? Here we go. This is like me recording the audiobook, which I also narrate. So if you would like this as an audiobook, please get it from Libro.fm, which is a place that allows you to buy and own your audiobooks forever, unlike Audible. Or if you have an Audible subscription, you can find it from Audible as well. Okay, this is from chapter 1, the intro of the book. This is what you will hear or read when you get this hardback or Audible or ebook for yourself. 1. The power of words in grief. Picture this. Someone, a dear friend, a family member, a client, a patient, a member of your congregation, a stranger at the grocery store, has just shared a grief story with you. Someone has died, or something very precious like a relationship, a job, or a dream has been lost. And now it is your turn to speak. It's almost as if this person has placed their heart onto an invisible table between the two of you, and now you feel the pressure to decide what to say next. Yet, when you fish into the recesses of your brain to retrieve an appropriate reply to their pain, you come up with an error message, response not found. Time is ticking by. Beads of sweat are beginning to form on your forehead, and you're standing stock still while a voice of panic internally screeches, "What do I say to comfort them? What words could possibly be enough? I don't want to make them feel worse. Don't screw this up." Meanwhile, your bereaved companion is waiting, fragile heart on the table, for you to continue the conversation. This point in time, while incredibly short in measurable seconds, bears the heavy and timeless weight of grief. And in this moment, the onus is on you to respond to it. What can you possibly say that will comfort them, that will acknowledge the weight and uncertainty of their loss, that will let the person know that you not only care about them, but that you are also a safe place for them to take their pain? You try your best. You offer up an "I'm sorry," or "I can't imagine." You mirror back their feelings or place a caring hand on their shoulder. You stumble through a few more sentences, watching their face to see if anything you've said has had a meaningful impact. But you can't tell if you're actually comforting them or just saying words. You end by wishing them well, with a "let me know if there's anything I can do. I hope things get better soon," or "I'll be thinking of you." But you leave the interaction feeling unsatisfied, unresolved, like there's something more you could have said or done to help this person feel genuinely seen, heard, and held in the moments they were in your presence. You wonder if they feel better or worse for having talked to you, or if they maybe even regret bringing their suffering into your orbit. As you watch them walk away, you feel a stone in your stomach and a nagging tug at the edges of your heart. You wonder if you'll ever be good at this, if you'll ever have truly helpful words to say when someone opens up to you about a terrible loss. You comb over everything you said, examining your words for faults and cracks. You exhale and hope to God you'll never have to go through that again, while knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that you, like all of us, most certainly will. That is pages 3 and 4 of Course I'm Here Right Now. And what I really wanted to do was capture the weight and the real gravity that so many supporters, that so many of us, we're all supporters, we're all grievers at some points in our lives, that we all feel when someone's like, "Holy crap, suddenly a coworker texted me and said, my brother's in the hospital." Or suddenly a friend says, "My neighbor's dad has just been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer." Or someone calls and says, "Oh my gosh, a driver just ran over my dog." How do you respond to pain in that moment? This is applicable for the pain of people we know and we care about, but we can also use the tools in this book, and I get into how to do this, for the pain of the world, the pain of the political state we're currently in, the pain of what it is to be alive right now on the planet. There are so many different uses for the phrases in this book. I'll give you a little tour de France while we're on here together. So chapter 1 is all about words and stories, the power of words in grief. Why are words important? Why are they so impactful? Why do we agonize about not knowing the right words to say? And then the first little bit that I leave you with in part 1 of the book is called The 3 Stories, where I introduce the 3 painful stories that almost every grieving person tells themselves at one time or another. And this is based on 10 years of me working with grieving people, as well as my own experience as a griever. The 3 stories are: I'm crazy, I'm alone, and it's going to be like this forever. And I tell you how to figure out what story your griever, the person you are comforting, is telling so that you know which phrase to use to respond. Because the second part of the book is devoted to the phrases. Of course, I'm here right now. Of course is the emotional validator of I'm crazy. My dad's dead. I can't believe I'm still so sad. It's been 7 years. Of course, you're still sad. Your dad is still dead, even though it's been 7 years. I'm here is the antidote to I'm alone. No one understands how I feel. Even if I can't understand how you feel, I'm here and I have not forgotten that you're grieving. I'll keep checking in on you. It's all ways of saying I'm here. And then everything feels hopeless, or my life will be like this forever. Right now, I can totally see how everything feels hopeless, or how hope is hard to find. I'm with you. Those are all ways to respond to these three stories. I'm crazy. I'm alone. It's going to be like this forever. Of course, I'm here right now. And their iterations. In each of the chapters, I go into why these phrases work for all types of losses and all types of grief. There are a whole bunch of try them as you wish with yourself or with other people exercises for how to make the phrases fun or fold them into daily life, especially if you are someone who works with grievers professionally, or a friend or family member. You're you could do this exercise as a family. You could do this with a spouse. You could do this with grieving kids, especially if you're a griever, a grieving spouse, maybe supporting grieving children. Oftentimes grievers are supporters and supporters are grievers. It's the kumbaya circle of life that we are all caught in. The last part of the book, because I don't want to overwhelm you with information, it really is a very quick in and out guidebook, is your turn. It is your blessing, your benediction for the road of you now have everything you need to practice using these phrases in real life, to begin using them with friends and family members, in the workplace, with strangers that you interact who are grieving. I take you through a day in the life of an imaginary comforter who is going throughout her day from 6 in the morning until 10 p.m., interacting with different people, from her children to her husband to her coworkers to her friend from knitting club, all different ways, all different losses, and all how the phrases, of course, I'm here right now, fold into seamlessly her day to day. And I also finally offer you a blessing of you have the words now, and now you can go build a world where everyone knows what to say to comfort someone who is grieving. This is a cliche-free book, platitude-free book on what to say to support someone at the darkest and hardest moment of their lives. It is applicable, again, for all types of losses, all time frames since the loss, and all mediums where words are shared. So whether you are writing a sympathy card, or coming up with a company-wide email, or texting someone, or on FaceTime, or sending what my friends and I call podcast voice memos, where we take 5-minute voice memos of our lives and then refer to them as podcasts from one to the other. If you are writing a bulletin for the church newsletter, these phrases are so helpful in validating people's grief. What a blessing it is to be obsessed with my work. And I really, truly am. There are client stories in here. There are resources from other grief professionals, but ultimately it is the definitive guidebook on what to say to someone you care about who is grieving. I am ecstatic that it's in hardback. I am so thrilled that it's here in my hands. It comes out in less than a week on March 31st, 2026. So if you are watching this video after that, guess what? You can go get it anywhere. Anywhere fine books are sold. Please support your indie bookstore if you are able to do so financially. If not, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, these are all fine places to grab a book in this day and age. And if you really can't financially afford a book, the best thing you can do to support me as an author is to request this at your local library. People searching for what to say to someone grieving, whether on Google or in your library's card catalog, will find this book. And not only can you read it for free, but everyone in your community can as well. I am so delighted and just glowing at a soul level to share this book with you and with the rest of the world. Please, if you've read it already, write a review. And if it's in you, if it is on your heart, please order a whole bunch for your organization, for your local book club, for your mom's community, for whatever you are in where you are adjacent to someone grieving. I write in chapter 2, this is the last thing I'll give you, just so I can drive the impact of this home. And then we'll sign off for the day. But you are always adjacent to someone who is grieving. You probably just don't know it yet. Okay. Each year in the United States, approximately 2.5 million people die. For each person who dies, approximately 5 to 9 people grieve their loss. That's at least half a dozen people whose lives are significantly impacted by the absence someone's death creates. The average American reports having 3 to 5 close relationships. That means, if you extrapolate out that data, at least 37.5 million people are supporting someone who's grieving at any given moment in time. And this estimate only includes people grieving a death. It does not include diagnosis. It does not include divorce or breakup. It does not include world events or natural disasters. Everyone, including you, is supporting someone grieving in every moment of your life. This book is the guidebook for what to say. I hope you will join me in creating a world where cliches finally meet their end, where platitudes are no longer the first thing we reach for on our mental shelves when someone we care about is grieving, and where, when the people around us are suffering, our default begins to become emotional validation through, of course, accompaniment, verbal and real, show up accompaniment through I'm here, and time anchoring, contextualizing right now in this season. This is so hard. In this chapter, I can see how hard you're trying. Abso-freaking-lutely. These are so much more effective words than what we have been given by society. And we can create a much more grief, caring, and compassionate and literate culture just by using the tools in this book. I am so proud I wrote it. I am so happy it's here. Now go forth, buy it, tell your friends about it, request it at your local library. I will be here and waiting, and I cannot wait to hear what you think. Until my next book, I see you. I am so proud of you and the work that you're doing in the world, and I love you. Because even through grief, we are using our words, and we are growing. Thank you so much for your support of me and this book.